my dog, my child, my homie, a dog. I'm so big on trying to help my community, a dog. Like for me, a homie, bro. Like I got content on mental health and well-being. So let me just talk about this strategy. I think that people could use, a dog, which is gonna be useful because I think especially for people because I got a playlist on my YouTube platform, a dog. You know, Jacob Brown official on playlist. It's mental health and well-being. I got a series in that department or the that playlist, which is awakening mental fortitude. So I want to just talk about this strategy. I think it's going to be helpful for a lot of people. For me, like I think I bring value. I'm a person of value, so I got to talk about how this is going to help those people out there, a dog, to have a great time and a blast, a dog, hitting their guitars. I mean, Jacob Brown is out there. I think it's all about authentic expression and just connecting with my trauma community, yeah, dog. So let me just do my thing, bro. Strategy, I think, if you haven't checked out my content, go check my contents out on my playlist. I still got, to strategize and schedule my content, but put things in order and add my contents onto them files. But for me, I think it's going to help my community. So let me talk about this strategy that's going to be helpful. Hey, bro, man, let's talk about this, bro. Jacob Brown is feeling real sexy today. Oh my trauma communities, feeling real good as well. Hey, dog, man. Hey, oh me. All right, bro, let's talk about this, hey, dog. Strategy, which I call the OTD method. So it's called OTD, which I'm saying, and it's a tool that can be used to help if you're going through something, hey, dog. So what does it stand for? OTD. Because that's what it stands for. It's a what they call it acronym. So it's OTD. So O is for obtain, T is for transfer, and D discard. So I'm saying, so it's important. I'm gonna just give a quick summary into how this gonna help, a dog. So let me just break it down to you, homie, bro. Hey, bro. OTD, obtain, transfer, discard. So obtain. So example, like you wake up every day, a dog. You gotta go to your career, you got tasks, you got daily stuff. You gotta get done. You gotta do your thing, and you gotta get on. It's life, a dog. You got responsibilities, and you're probably a coach. You gotta go train some kids. You got like you're getting scouted for soccer, a dog. You're getting scouted to do something. You're trying to just go, like trying to just focus on the daily aspects of what's important, a dog. So you wake up. So tomorrow when you wake up, what you do is you obtain what's important. Like, so you obtain information about the next couple weeks. If you got scheduled and you got like some things to do, a dog, like you're working on a project, you're working on like some business, or you're working on something, a dog, like it could be a chef, man. You could be like in about 3 weeks you got like this dinner invitation, a dog, by some celebrity, and this person asking you to cook for about 1,000 people, a dog, or like 300 people, a dog, and you're like, hey, I mean, so what you do is you wake up every morning and you try to obtain what you gotta get done for the day. If it's a day thing, I would just say start with the day, a dog. So you gotta go into office and you gotta do like 10 tasks, which is important for the next couple weeks, a dog. So you wake up tomorrow and you say, what, hey man, I got these tasks, I got these scheduling of these tasks I gotta get done. What you do now is, a dog, is once you done that, you wake up and you obtain the information what you gotta get done. So you gotta write it down, like get a piece of paper or a notebook, a dog, or hey, me, bro, like if you're like in the digital spec, a dog, just get your notepad on your phone, write some things you gotta get done for the day, main homie. Once you've done that, you obtain the information. What you gotta do is now you gotta transfer. What does transfer look like? Transfer looks like, that's why it's OTD, obtain, transfer, and the last part is discard. So you obtain the information for what you got to get done tomorrow, amen. What you got to do now is you got to transfer that. So what does transferring look like? Transferring looks like you got to find scheduling. You got to find, okay, I got this information of what I got to get done. So you got this bunch of information, dog, and we gotta get done now, homie, dog. Is now you gotta transfer that. Transfer looks like you gotta schedule your what you gotta do. You should to dos, right? So you obtain information to dos. So to dos look like, you know what? I got like 10 calls I gotta make. I gotta put do some printouts, dog, and then send this off to couple addresses around the UK or wherever you are. I'm saying in the States, dog, in Cali. Shout out to my homies up in Cali if you have a spot, dog. Once you've done that, you obtain for the day. You wake up and you're like, this is what got to get done. This is what's important. You transfer that by focusing on like, okay, you know what, hey man, I got now transfer this, and it's not a schedule, dog, of okay, I gotta make 10 calls, okay, this from this time to this time, this exact time, I'm gonna call this person. I'm gonna call this person. So you transfer that information from what you obtain, and then you make a schedule of the things that you gotta get done throughout the day, dog. Once you've done that, the last part, which is discard, I think is the most important part. Because how many times have you probably just like, been at office or in your spot and you're literally like, trying to get your tasks done, but then you'll end up on your phone. You're just looking at the phone or you're talking to someone. You just waste time, dog. So discard looks like, so the first thing is OTD, obtain, transfer, discard. You obtain what you got to get done for the day. You transfer that to make a schedule of what you got to get done. Discard looks like something where you got to now discard the things that you can't do because you got these tasks to get done. So your day becomes a day of useful. It's a useful process. So you gotta say, you know what? When I'm making these calls, dog, I'm not gonna be on my phone. When I make my calls, when I do this at a conference or presentation on this, I don't know, on the laptop, dog, I am not gonna be wasting time trying to be friendly with the co-workers on the laptop. I'm just gonna just say what I gotta say and then have a conversation, discussion in the call. So it's just shortens the time of wasting time, dog. Or if you're like going to an expo conference or you're in a spot, you're trying to do something, homie, what you gotta do is you gotta say, hey bro, I'm gonna discard like engagement with people that's not gonna bring value to the company, maybe your company, maybe the company that you work for. So you're gonna minimize the contact with people that's not going to buy from your company when you're at an expo or exhibition. There are things that you got to discard. So these information you obtain for the day, now you got transfer, which is your scheduling of what you got to get done, dog. Now you got to focus on discarding everything that's not going to bring value for the day. I'm saying, and you got to get this done if you're on some if you're like say Jacob Brown is going to be he's going to be a co-founder of a company, a tech company in the future, dog. I bring value. I'm a person of value. That's why I don't waste time with these roadmans and people walking around trying to chat with Jacob Brown, because I'm not in the same frequency, dog. In fact, they think, Jacob Brown thinks he's better than us. And I'm like, I am better than you. I'm saying in so many ways. In fact, you know what? I don't want to waste time talking to you, roadman, because you want to be a drug dealer, dog. You're a drug dealer, bro. Like, I'm a Bill Gates. I'm a Elon Musk. I'm a Richard Branson. I'm like a company owner. I'm saying you're a drug dealer. You're a road man trying to be tough on the street. I got no interest, bro. Two different values. You sell drugs to people, dog. Jacob Brown brings value to people. There's a massive difference, dog. And I think I am better than you. And I think a lot of people probably would say the same stuff, dog. You're a drug leader, you're a roadman. I'm saying, dog. They call it roadman up in London, dog. So for me, I gotta talk about this, bro. So look, listen. Obtain, transfer, discard. You gotta discard everything that's not serving you on a daily basis, dog, homie, bro, because that's ultimately what's important. Like, you gotta focus on you. You gotta focus on what brings value to you. You gotta wake up, right? And you gotta be like, hey, bro, like, I'm gonna bring value to people and they're gonna bring value to me. If you're in a conversation with someone where you're bringing value to someone, they're not bringing value to you. It's like being in a conversation. You go on holiday, you talking to someone at a bar or in a professional setting, and you're trying to bring value on, you're bringing value in a conversation. The problem is the other person does not value you, and it's your problem if you're gonna be sitting there talking to a person who think you're not valuable, dog. If you're a person of value and you're bringing value, and another person can't see that, get off the couch or get off the seat and walk the opposite direction, dog. Because you're bringing value. The person trying to devalue you, you don't interact, no contact. The same thing with friendship, the same thing with family. It's important, dog.